kemudian para botso.
So we're back today with our last day of training before we leave for the US for our 2 competitions. Today is just a short boulder session at Climbers Rock, followed by a short workout where we're going to try and set some PBs on all our exercises. So the goal today, for this boulder session, I wanted to try and make a bigger dent in that pink boulder from the last time we were climbing here. I kind of got spanked by it and I was able to do 1 or 2 moves, so I wanted to see if I could maybe get it in a couple sections, or I didn't expect that I was going to be able to send the boulder today. So I started off with a couple moderates just to really get warm, especially like that boulder is just at my absolute limit, so I had to be as warm as possible. So I started with this orange one, probably around V9 or 10, with some crimps really get the fingers going. And then there's another moderate here I found that looked pretty nice. Really bad first hold that took me a couple tries to start on. You can see at the beginning of the video as well, the night before this climbing day, I visited kind of like my meditation spot near my home in Burlington. I haven't been like super psyched on competing in a little bit, and so whenever I need like to take a second to go and think, I'll go find myself walking by the waterfront to kind of meditate for a little bit and get in the zone. I had a nice moment last night where I was getting really psyched for the competitions coming up. And so after getting super warm on some moderates, it was time to see what I could do on this pink one again. I really like this boulder. It's like a nice, just classic project. Like, it's super hard and physical, but the moves are interesting and it's really fun to work. And so first couple attempts were just similar to the previous day where I was not sticking this match on this sloper and then not able to stick this crimp. But I was feeling definitely stronger than the last day, and my tips had healed up quite a bit, so they weren't as pink, and I could try a little bit harder on this crimp with the right hand. So after a couple tries just with this move individually, I finally stick the crimp for the first time, and I feel it feels solid. And it was like probably like 10 minutes into the boulder already I was seeing some progress. And so after that, I wanted to try and see how many moves I could get down. So now I'm trying to link the next couple moves. This come into the crimp with the left hand was definitely the best method I tried after trying a bunch of different methods. It was a really hard back flag, and it's kind of hard not to dab on all these holds through the left foot as well. That was kind of added to the difficulty of this sequence. But yeah, the second last pinch is pretty good. You just have to have your other hands good enough. And so after I had made a bunch of links on the last couple moves, I went back to some ground tries, and like immediately on my first attempt here, trying it from the ground after those end moves, I matched the hold finally. I realized the trick was I really had to stay to the left instead of let my body come to the right. And I stick the crimp from the ground. I was feeling super solid, and then one of the hands fired off. I don't know which one, but yeah, I had a little bit of hope that maybe I could send the boulder this session. And then another ground attempt, followed in the crimp. That move was super low percentage. And then, yeah, still falling at this move. I wasn't able to stick it again. That was a fun fall. Both hands dry fire at the same time there. Actually, I think I was kind of wet firing today. My tips are still a little pink, so they're a little bit sweaty. I think with the rest day tomorrow, it should be perfect for the comp. And then, yeah, I had one more move that I hadn't actually stuck on this boulder, so I said, okay, well, I'm not going to send this boulder today, and I only have a little bit of time left, so I'll just stick all the moves. And so I got this like really high heel hook, and I was able to stick the mini pinch. Maybe with a few more sessions I could get the send on this thing, but it was our last climbing session at Climbers Rock of this program, and I had a lot of fun working this boulder. And so after this, I basically used up all my 45 minutes, but there were a couple cool looking moderates in the gym that I wanted to hop on before the session was over, and I wasn't tired at all, and I had a bit of skin to spare too, so I just got on some of these moderates at the end here. And so this here is our back room. It's another section, another boulder wall that we have. You kind of just walk through a tunnel and then you're here in what we call the lab. And this is kind of where we put more of our comp style stuff up. So there was a fresh set today that I was setting while I was working the pink one out there. And so after I finished on that, I wanted to try this black one that Tom was setting. It looked pretty fun. And it has this cool little jump start where you gotta jump off the hold, and then first try, the hold that I was jumping to felt like a mile away, and then the second try I was like, hey, if I jump off the wall, that'll probably give me a little extra distance, which I ended up doing. And something that's kind of funny actually, that I kind of learned while we were in Europe, and like now that we're living in Europe, and honestly even in Asia too, when we visit there, jump starts, like, it's kind of like a Canadian thing. I don't see it anywhere else in the world really. There were a couple jump starts at Block Shop that we did, and there's this one here. It's always been a thing kind of in the local comps when I was younger, growing up competing. Jump starts were like, you know, I don't know, maybe 20% of the boulders were a jump start, and that's like not really a thing in the rest of the world, which I find kind of funny. But yeah, the ending of this boulder was super cool. This press move, it looks like it should be really easy with this massive foot, but it's actually kind of under the roof more than it looks. And it's really like your butt's getting pushed out, and it's really hard to balance. So that ended up being a super cool boulder that Tom set. And then, yeah, I'd probably been climbing for about an hour here, so I said, okay, this slab looks kind of cool, it looks kind of moderate, so I hopped on it right at the end. Like I said, I want to get the muscle memory fresh and primed for the competition this weekend, so I definitely had to hop on a slab or two. And then, right now, these are graded question marks, and then like after a week of the boulders being up, they'll put some V grades in the boulders. So I didn't actually know how hard this blue one was, and I said, hey, I kind of like dropped off and decided, oh, you know what, I'll just hop on this blue one real quick before I stop my session and see if I can. And this ended up being the last little bit of bouldering that we're gonna do in this program before our first competition coming up. I feel like I definitely found my rhythm again after a shaky start to this year of training. I feel super solid back on the wall again. I'm comp ready. I'm excited. And so now this is going to be an exciting workout. We're going to do 1 rep of everything and just test our PBs on every exercise. Initially, I was going to do 3 sets of hangs and pinches, but since I extended my boulder session by a little bit, I decided I didn't want to have the volume go out of control too much, so I just said, oh, I'm just going to do 1 set of hangs and pinches as well. And so here I'm just warming up. It's like the end of my warm-up, and I'm warming up with 10 pounds, and it feels super easy. I just do like a couple short hangs to not tire my fingers out too much, and 10 pounds felt like easier than no weight did. No weight felt like a couple weeks ago, because that was like immediately I knew that I was probably going to achieve my goal of 20 pounds that I set out to do like near the beginning of this program. Near the beginning of the program, 20 pounds felt like so far away, and I wasn't super confident that I'd be able to achieve it. But not only did the training like go super well with my hangs for the past few weeks, but today, like the PB day that we ended up testing on, landed on like a really good feeling day. Like I felt super strong when I was warming up. And here we go, I'm able to do 20-pound hang. Very satisfying to achieve this. I think I got it for about 3 seconds. I was gonna count a rep if it was 2. I would count a rep if it was 2 seconds. But yeah, 20-pound hang. It's not like that impressive in the grand scheme of things. I know there's lots of people that can hang way heavier than this, but it's just extremely satisfying, especially because it's been a weakness of mine and I've finally taken the time to work on it. And yeah, 20-pound hang going into the events this weekend. It feels good.
Good.
How are you?
Good, good. How are you doing?
All right.
What? Did you get a haircut?
I did get a haircut from that.
I did it.
Looks so good.
Are you ready? Do you want one?
I'm okay for now.
Oh yeah, so good. It's gonna be good. Yes, yes, yes.
What do you have to do? All that?
Yeah, so that was 70. So in that last clip, I was warming up and I was warming up with 70 pounds, and holy cow, pinches felt so strong today, which I was so surprised by, especially like they've been feeling like absolute garbage for the past couple weeks too. It's not even like I had a couple bad sessions. There's a lot of bad sessions in a row and I was really like feeling bad. But today I felt so strong that I said, I'm gonna attempt my all-time PB of 80 pounds, which I've only done once before. And to my surprise, I'm actually able to lift the 80 pounds off the ground. It was like 2 seconds and it was like barely off the ground. In the moment, I actually couldn't tell if I was really executing the rep or not. Looking back on the video, I count the rep with my right hand, but then this one with I'm about to do with my left, it's kind of iffy. It's like a 1 second rep. It kind of is off the ground for a second. So I say that I've done an 80-pound lift. I actually am not 100% sure about that. I'm pretty sure I have, but 77.5 might actually be my previous PB. So this was either matching my previous best, which I think I've done one time, but maybe it might have actually just been a PB on its own. And here I'm just doing a couple 75-pound lifts, just because those reps were kind of iffy and I didn't know if I wanted to count the one on the left hand. So I just said, you know what? I feel super strong right now. I'm just gonna mess around a bit and see how easy it is to lift 75, which I can probably do. Like it's not even that often I'm doing 75-pound lifts, and today they felt quite easy, especially after doing 80. So that was super satisfying. So here I'm going to attempt 30-pound one-arm pull-up. I've done a 35-pound chin in the past, but for me the pull-ups are way harder to keep yourself from turning. Just adds a lot of strength. So this is gonna be a PB and can't do it. That was actually my second attempt. I attempted it once before on my right arm, but I forgot to film it. And I think I didn't rest enough anyway between them, and I was like too tired to try it again, really. Oh my God, look at who it is. It's been a long time. Have I seen you with your mask off in person before? I don't think so.
Did I get a video?
Yeah. Have you seen
Yeah, I've
it?
been watching the video.
Nice. Yeah, well, we're going for our PBs today. It's gonna be one arm with this big dumbbell. Oh, that's right. Is just for speed?
Yeah.
Nice. But then after a proper rest from the 2 attempts with my right arm, I gave it an attempt on with my left arm, and I was able to do it pretty convincingly. So that's a new PB on the left arm. So I have always wanted to kind of do a 100-pound dip. I thought that would be cool, especially with it being a weakness of mine that I've been working on for probably about a year now, a lot more than I used to. And the previous session we did 95 pounds, pretty much no problem, so I was not too worried about this one. And I felt quite strong today, and this 100-pound dip ended up feeling quite easy. It definitely had to try hard, but it was a nice milestone to hit, the 100-pound dip in Zach's story of getting better at mantles. And then the jump squat was kind of different. Since it's not necessarily an exercise we're trying to PB at, I'm just sticking with the 50 pounds that we've been doing, that we've been working on for a while. And the idea is just to do the best jump that I can possible. So that was the idea, but this jump that I ended up recording actually didn't end up being so good. I kind of jumped down too hard and the weights kind of bobbled out of my hands, which made the rep a little weird. I did a couple more and they were so-so. It's hard, with the jump squats, it's also really hard to track the progress, I find. But I definitely feel more confident in my jumping power. I think they've been helping. And then I was able to do a couple 50-pound pistol squats. This is definitely the first time that I've done a weight with pistol squats where it's like I didn't know if I could actually execute the rep. It looks pretty easy in the video, but it was quite hard in the moment. And so this is probably like actually pushing my PB 50 pounds, so that was cool. So that's all the training in the books. We put the work in, and now tomorrow we're gonna fly out to Virginia Beach for event number 1, Jackalope. Nice.
That seems easy.
That was easy and I couldn't do it like 2 weeks ago. It felt impossible.